Hello friends, Christian here with BrickLifeCrisis again. Today we're taking a look at LEGO Star Wars set number 75261. This is the Clone Scout Walker 20th Anniversary Edition. The set is recommended for ages 6 and up, consists of 250 pieces, including 3 minifigures, as well as the bonus 1999 Darth Vader collectible minifigure. Pretty cool set. I'm anxious to get it built up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back of the box, where we can get a little bit better idea of what's inside, as well as the complete collection of special limited edition retro minifigures. And here we have it, set number 75261, the Clone Scout Walker 20th Anniversary Edition. As you can see, we have the Scout Walker, a Spider Droid, a Wookiee, a Scout Trooper, and a Battle Droid. Let's go ahead and take a look at each of these in a little bit more detail, as well as the extra bonus, which is the 20th Anniversary Edition of Darth Vader. Alright, this is the Dwarf Spider Droid. This is not my favorite in-universe thing, but it's built up fairly well. They give you a clear, round brick down here just to help keep it stable. The legs are articulated at what would be the hip and the knee and the ankle, so there's quite a bit of movement available here. There is a stud shooter up front, and that is adjustable as well. We have a couple of giant red eyes here, which you can move, which is kind of nice. And then we have this kind of ball joint piece, a giant ball joint. You can actually move this thing around. Now, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be an antenna or some sort of weapon. I should know that, but I'm just not into the prequels enough to really be down with all of that. But it's a cool little build for what it is. It's a little bit fragile with the legs if you're not careful, but case in point. But it's fun and nice to have an extra enemy piece without having just a mass of the droids. Speaking of these guys, this is the same droid that we've gotten for the last 20 years. They could almost put the 20th anniversary logo on the back of this guy because nothing has really changed, with the exception of the arms. They now have the bended arm as well as the straight arm, which gives you a little bit more flexibility in posing. The head just moves a little bit, and then he's articulated at the waist. The legs don't move. In fact, they're molded together down there at the foot. It's a pretty good representation of the battle droids, so I don't know that they necessarily need to change anything about these guys. It might be nice, though, if you could move the legs, but I don't know that you'd get that much more posability out of it, because if they were separate, it would be pretty tough to get them to stand up. The only other thing I could think of is maybe some print detail to just give them a little bit more realism, but these guys aren't too bad. And next up we have this Wookiee Warrior. He's fairly well done. This is not Chewbacca. No bandoliers, as you can tell. He comes with this kind of musket-looking gun, which is not really very Star Wars-y, but it works. If you take off the molded head / torso, you can see we just have a brown torso and arms, and just a little bit of print on the legs. Otherwise, nothing terribly special, but it's nice to have an extra Wookiee that is not Chewbacca. And here we have my favorite figure of the set. This is the Kashyyyk Trooper, and this is the camouflaged clone trooper. He has the Biker Scout helmet, but done in a camouflage pattern, which is really nice. I really dig the print on the torso and the legs, and then the back torso works as well. My one complaint about this figure, and it's not very dramatic, is, again, they have a flesh-colored head. It's the angry clone trooper. Again, as I always say in these videos, I would much prefer if they just had a plain black head or the balaclava head, because at a low angle you can see the skin, but at most angles it's really not that noticeable. You can see it just slightly from the back from a really low angle, but for the most part this one is not bad at all. As you can see, he comes with the medium blaster and the helmet. Again, I really dig the print. This camouflage pattern I think is fantastic, and for sure my favorite figure in this set. And finally we have our bonus 20th Anniversary Edition figure. This is Darth Vader. He has the 20th Anniversary brick-built stand with the 20th Anniversary logo and the name Darth Vader printed there, which is very nice. He has the lightsaber with the sort of chrome finish. It's not the original chrome finish, but it's silver painted. Looks pretty good. He's got the old style one-piece Darth Vader helmet, which is kind of fun to see those again. And then he has a really nicely printed face Not a whole lot of detail by today's standards, but it works really well, I think. No printer on the back. He has the old paper style cape. If we lift that up, we see the 20th anniversary logo. It doesn't bother me at all because he's got the cape, so you don't see it generally. And for the sake of collectors, I'm glad they've done that on these 20th anniversary figures. The ones without the capes, it's a little bit more annoying because it's harder to use those figures in a diorama or something, because you can see that. But for me, I don't necessarily include these guys in a diorama if I set something up so it would just be on display, and it works just fine. Pretty cool. So this stand is built up like the others. We have this printed plate, a couple of 1x4 plates, and these arch pieces. Then underneath there's a 2x4, and if you put that on there about halfway like so, then it sticks out like this. The advantage of that is if you have any more of these figures, you can snap them together to make a longer display stand. So now you can display your 20th anniversary figures together. I do like these stands quite a bit. The printed piece is really nice, and they work together well when you put them together like this. However, I kind of wish that they had stuck with the previous collectible minifigure stands that they had like this. I think it would have been cool to have some consistency between the two different collector series. If we could have had either these be more like this, or my preference would be to have these be more like this with a backing card, and maybe have the 20th anniversary logo printed on the card, and then have the name of the figure either on a sticker or on a print on the front like the other ones. I like these quite a bit, but I like these a bit more, I think. And here we have the gun emplacement. This is pretty well done. I like this quite a bit. Basically we have these kind of black clop pieces, and they're on these hinges so that you can kind of bend it around to make a little bit of a sort of a bunker, almost like sandbags or something. And then we have this long rifle that is on a stand, and you have this brick built shield around it, so that you can fend off enemies under a little bit of protection. Kind of a cool thing. I like this quite a bit. I'd like to see more of this in playsets in the future. I think you could build this up maybe a little bit higher, give some more protection. If you had a couple of these sets, you could maybe make a, not a machine gun nest, but that sort of thing, a blaster nest, and have a couple of soldiers back here protecting the front line. I don't know, kind of cool, I think. Alright, and here we have the Scout Walker. This guy is pretty tall by the time you get the antennas up there. The top of the antenna is right here, so as you can see, it's pretty big. When you put the figure next to it, it barely comes up to the knee joint. In universe, this thing would be probably about half the size. That being said, all things considered, I think they've done a really nice job with this. As you can see, we have a big blaster up front, and there's a stud shooter there to add some playability. We have some armor around the sides, wrapping around the cockpit. These are stickers, unfortunately, rather than prints, but they do add quite a bit of detail. The seat area is, again, a little bit oversized, but it works. You can either seat or stand a figure there, and there's a handlebar for the trooper to control it. The antennas are kind of hinged there, which works, but isn't quite accurate. The buildup of the body is pretty good, and there's some nice greebling, and this kind of piston arm is just detail. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the legs, but it looks nice. They have these rounded joints, which is cool. There's quite a bit of articulation on these legs. They move at the hip, at the knee, at the ankle, and even at the toe there in the middle, which helps with posability, which is very nice. I like the color scheme quite a bit with the dark tan, the dark and light gray, and a little bit of sand green just to add some flavor to it. I think it's really well done. It's just a little bit oversized, I think, but I think they've done a pretty good job with the overall design, and considering what they have to work with being Lego, I can understand why it's a little bit larger. If you want something that's a bit more screen accurate, I would recommend you go over to Brick Vault and take a look at their video. There's a mock that they have available in their store. You can buy plans for it for a scaled down version of this. It's actually minifigure scale. Looks very good, and they have it in a few different colors, so you might check them out. But overall, I think this thing is pretty good. Again, I like the color scheme, I like the design. It's just a little bit oversized. So I think that'll wrap it up for this one. This has been Christian with BrickLifeCrisis. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave us a like. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those below. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, may the Force be with you. Take care. Bye for now. And I know this has nothing to do with the video you just watched, but if you saw my previous video on opening the Disney collectible minifigures, you know that this is one that I was missing. This is actually the last one that I needed, and I found him at Best Buy of all places. So pretty cool. I'm glad to have Hercules as part of my collection. I really like that custom hair mold. It's pretty cool. The printed shield, and then his torso print is nicely done as well. The cape is the kind of newer type. It is soft, and when I flip that up, you can see just a little bit of print on the back, dual molded legs, and nice print on the legs as well. Pretty cool figure, and he completes my Disney collectible minifigure collection, Series 2.